So this is a really beginner level tutorial on how to do a granny square. You're going to need a crochet hook, any size. My favourite to work with is 4mm, um, just in case you were wondering. Any kind of yarn, probably one that will work well with your hook size, but anything, either or, you just need these two things. So I'm going to teach you how to do a slip knot, a slip stitch, a chain and a double crochet, and then I'm going to teach you how to use those skills to make a granny square. And then once you can make one granny square, you can make loads of granny squares and you can sew them all together to make a blanket, or you can just keep going and make one big granny square. You can do loads of things, so just stick with it. It's pretty clear, I hope. And yeah, let's go. So you want to learn to crochet, you need to know a slip knot. So take your yarn, place it flat like this. Make a loop first. Yep, just a loop like that. And then you're going to take some of the yarn and pull it underneath the loop. And then pull it tight, like this. That's it, then give it a tug. See whether it moves up and down like so. It should pop straight out, like that. I'm going to show you again. You make a loop. You pull some yarn through the bottom of the loop. You can see me do it. There we go, right through, and then tug both ends until it's tight. And give it a wiggle. Make sure it can pop straight out. Just keep practicing this until you really get a grip on how to do it. And then you'll be able to just, keep trying and pull through. Yeah, you can do it, honestly. Get faster and faster the more you practice. And then you're going to take your hook and you're going to put the loop over the hook and pull it tight. Now you don't want it too tight, but you don't want it too loose. You need to really get to know the tension on your own here. And the way you hold the yarn is really important. You'll find the way to do it yourself, but this is just how I'll prefer to hold it. Okay, we know the slip knot, now we're going to chain. So look at this. You wrap around and pull through. Wrap around and pull through. I don't know how else to explain this, so I hope it's really clear to you. You just need to take the bit of yarn from the ball, wrap around and pull through. Now I can't stress enough that repeating this process is going to help you out here because your tension is so important. The more you can use your pointer finger to control the yarn, the better it will be. Here you can see how many chains I've done. So each loop there that's created is one chain. You can undo them just by pulling like that, and then poof, it's gone. You can start again. Keep practicing, keep watching this. If you don't get it, just rewind. So make sure you're holding it right. Wrap around and pull through. Literally, wrap around, pull through. Wrap the yarn around, pull it through the loop that's already on the hook. And I can't stress enough how important this tension is. My pointer finger is controlling that yarn that's coming from the board, and that really helps with the wrapping and pulling through process. So I want you to keep practicing, keep undoing it, and just try over and over again until you've got to grips with it. You can do this, it's just wrapping over and pulling through. So next you're going to learn a slip stitch so you can create a circle. So do your 4 chains for me and then find the first chain you did, which will be closest to the first slip knot. So then insert your hook, wrap around, oh there's me showing you again, there it is, insert the hook, wrap around just like before, pull it over once. You have 2 loops on your hook now, and then pull the second loop over the top of the first one. Now I can see that might have been daunting and confusing, so I'm showing you again a slip knot. You chain 4, because we're starting a granny square, so you're going to chain 4, and then you need to create a little circle, so we do a slip stitch. So you want to find the first chain next to the knot, insert your hook into it, wrap your yarn around and pull it through the first loop, Try and wiggle out the little circle with your fingers if you can, and then pull the second loop over the first. Now stick with me here, we can chain now, so chain 3. I'm going to show you what it is you're making here, because this is the middle of the square. And the chain 3 that you've just done brings the stitch to the right height so that when we double crochet next, it's all in line. I'll show you here. So there's the middle, and the chain 3 takes it to the right level. So the next 2 double crochets that go into the circle will create a cluster stitch. Okay, here we go, a double crochet. Just watch me do it first. I'll talk you through it after. I promise you can do this. Once you get the hang of it, you can literally do anything. You'll be using this stitch probably more than anything else. And once you know the double, you can do a single, you can do a treble, you can really get going on it. So here we go, I've slowed it right down. You want to wrap your yarn around the hook the same way we did with the chain, insert it into the circle we created, wrap your yarn again and pull it through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around, and pull it through 2 of those 3 loops, and you'll have 2 left on your hook. Wrap your yarn around again and pull the last 2 off. Then give it a nice squeeze tight and you'll be able to see that the chain 3 and the 2 double crochets that we did create the first little cluster in the granny square. Now don't focus too much here on the square itself. I'm just trying to teach you how it creates the shape. But what I really want you to do is practice that double crochet until you understand it. And if you don't, go back and watch it again and keep going and going and going. You can do it. So we need to create the corner of the square, and we do that by chaining 2. We can chain, we can do that easily. And now we double crochet 3 by going through the middle circle again. So you add 3 double crochets into the middle circle again, which will create another cluster stitch. There you can see it growing. So you wrap around, insert into the middle, wrap around and pull through the hole, 3 loops, wrap around and pull 2 off, wrap around and pull off the last 2. There we can see now that I've got 2, so we're going to do a last one. Wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull 2 off, wrap around, pull 2 off. So now you can see where we did the chain 2 has created a little hole in the corner. You can see the corner of the square now. That is amazing. You can do this. So now we know that chaining 2 creates a corner. So what are we going to do? Chain 2. You see what's happening here? And then, you guessed it, 3 double crochets into that middle circle again. As you go round, you'll begin to see your little square taking shape. Now, as I've said all along, do not worry if you're confused. Just go back, keep practicing, look at other materials, find a different pattern, find your own way here. I promise you can do it. So we need another corner, we're chaining 2. And then we're going to double crochet 3 into the middle again. Eventually, you'll be as fast as this. I promise, just keep trying. And then, after we've done this, you'll be able to see that we need to chain 2 again to make the last corner. Just have a look at that, spread it around, see if you can see. Yep, chain 2 for the last corner, and then use a slip stitch like we did before, and you want to slip stitch right into the top of the beginning chain 3 that we did. I know that sounds really confusing, I can't simplify it any further. You're going to slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 that we did. I'm not going to lie to you, it took me a really long time to understand that. But I'm hoping that from the video and from this narration, you can kind of see what I'm saying a bit more. So we've now got 4 corners that we created by doing those chain 2s with cluster stitches in between of 3 double crochets. Now we chain 3, again, to bring the stitch up to the right height. And then we want to do 2 double crochets into the first hole that the chain 3 is coming out of. Do you see what I mean? I don't know if I've explained that well, but hopefully you can see. And then you want to do another double crochet into the same one. So now we have a cluster stitch of 3, but instead of 3 double crochets,
the chain 3 makes up for one of them. So we're going to work into the next corner now, and we're going to do 3 double crochets into that space. So insert, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through. Do 3 of them into that one corner, and then we're going to chain 2. Again, because chaining 2 creates a corner. So to go about the corner here, like I just said, we're going to chain 2, and then after that, we're going to add 3 double crochets again, but into the same hole we just worked into. Bear with me, I know that sounded confusing, but in a minute you'll see that the corner is formed. So wrap around, pull through, insert, wrap around, pull through. You get it by now, and if you don't, just go back and practice again. See, look at that, there's the corner. Double crochet into the next corner. Do 3 of them. That's it, keep going. And then chain 2, because we're going to chain 2. Why, you ask? Because it makes a corner. There I am, chaining 2, and then insert into the same hole and do 3 double crochets again. And this is important, and it took me so long to understand this, I'm not going to lie. But just keep following this tutorial or find another one, and you'll be able to see that the chain 2s create the corner and the double crochets create the cluster stitches. And this is how you work around in a square shape. So hopefully by this point you're starting to see and understand what I mean about the cluster stitches and the chain 2s and the part they have to play in the square. If not, then I'll try and find another way to explain it, but for now this is all I can do. So you keep doing 3 double crochets and chain 2s into the corner stitch. Here's the last one. You can see I'm coming up to the first set of 3 that we did, and what we want to do is the same as before. We do 3 double crochets, and then we're going to do chain 2 for the final corner and slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3. I know it sounds confusing, but it's exactly the same as last time I said that. We chain 2, we find the top of the first chain 3, insert the hook and do a slip stitch. There we go, you can see right at the top where we did the chain 3, slip stitch into it, and we've got a square. Do you see all those little holes, the corners? There where we did the chain 2, and the clumps of 3 are the 3 double crochets. So we chain 3 again to get it to the right height, and then we do 2 double crochets into the same space. We get that, we did it last time. If we don't get it, go back and try again, no worries. The next hole that we find that we're going to insert our hook into isn't a corner, but don't worry, because all you have to do is 3 double crochets into there, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through, you get the drill. Yep, 3 double crochets into there. Nice. And then the next hole that we see is a corner. So 3 double crochets. And what do we do on a corner? I want you to say it with me. Chain 2. There we go. Chain 2. And that is going to create the little hole to work in next time. And because it's a corner, we do 3 double crochets into the same hole we just worked into to successfully create the corner of the square. I know it sounds so wordy, it's a really difficult thing to explain, but once it sort of clicks with you, you'll see what I mean. You see, the next hole isn't a corner, so just 3 double crochets into there and move on. But every time you're faced with a corner, you need to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all into the same hole. Look, here we go. Here we are in the corner, 3 double crochets, 2, 3, and chain 2, and 3 double crochets into the same corner. Did you see that? Into the same stitch. There we go. Make that corner. So yeah, that's really all I can say on the matter, other than keep trying. I know it's daunting, but once you've mastered that double crochet, it will all start to make so much more sense. So you can see me go in there, 3 double crochets into the hole. It's not a corner, so we just move on to the next one. When we get to the corner, 3 double crochets, wrap around, insert, pull through. Final one, and then chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same hole. So when we approach the end again, we do 3 double crochets into the final corner and then chain 2 as always, and we've got to slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 that we did. Do you know what I mean by that? The chain 3 that we did to make all the stitches the same height, that's what you're slip stitching into now. Does it make sense? There is the square, and then you keep going round and round in that same pattern until you get the size you want. And then the more you do it, the more you practice, the more that you learn, the more squares you can make, the more things you can put together. I promise you can learn this. Hello, if you watched this far, thank you, as always. I hope that that was as clear as possible, obviously. I'm not sure why the date says 2018 in the corner. I filmed this in 2020. Don't know what all that's about, but never mind. I just wanted to say, if it doesn't make sense, or you're confused, or you have any questions, or I could do something in a better way, please tell me. I just want to make it as easy as possible for you, and the chances are I'm going to know the answers, so don't hesitate, just let me know. And also keep me updated if you do make things, if you do try and learn, let me know. I'm all about that engagement. I want to hear about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Mwah.